The Dream. This story was about my sister's family. This is probably a little sad and hard to believe. But when recalling this, it pained every member of my family's heart. Back in the day, my sister has given birth to an adorable boy. She named him Matthew, which meant treasure to her. Our Matthew always returned home around 5 p.m. after school. That particular day might be that it has been an unforgettable day for my sister for the rest of her life. In the afternoon, my sister hadn't seen her son coming home yet. It was more than 6 p.m. already. She was all fired up. She wondered why her son didn't been home yet. My brother-in-law comforted my sister that he must have been played around outside and forgot to get home. He would come out to find their kid home. Before my brother-in-law nearly went out, their neighbor, Annie, came to them in panic at their door. He faltered to announce them a piece of bad news. Their son had. Annie's next words came like a bolt from the blue. He told them that Matthew had been hit by a car. When my brother-in-law and sister heard the bad news, they had been paralyzed with fear. Without a word, they had been shaking while running to the car crash's location. They ran to the highway where Matthew crossed every day to get home. Once my sister reached there, she saw many people gathering around. She cried her eyes out and screamed aloud, "Son, son, my little son," repeatedly, then plunged to her son. My sister and her husband hugged their little boy, but no matter how much pain they cried and screamed and called Matthew out, our Matthew had gone from that day. There was a long blood trace under Matthew's foot. It was shown that our little boy had been dragged by the car for a few meters before he died. My sister was too mourning for her little son's death so that she had been sick. The police had opened the investigation to trace out the culprit. They had tracked out the camera's records, but there was no lead for them to see who the brutal man was, hit Matthew, and ran away with the car. My sister's mother-in-law also grieved for her grandson. She cried a lot and told my sister and her son that as the traditional rules in town, they should come to the car crash place to take worship, or else Matthew was going to be a lonely ghost and stuck there forever, unable to go to his afterlife. She wanted them to save her grandson from being a stray ghost. Even my sister and brother-in-law didn't believe in that irrational tradition, but to comfort her mother-in-law, they came to the highway where their little boy had been hit to worship and burn him some joss paper like what their mother said. It is unnatural for a child to die before their parent. People said once a child lost parents, everyone would call them an urchin. But for parents who lost their kid, people didn't have any word to call them afterward because that was really the most pain in the world. Matthew was a clever and adorable kid. He just lived 11 years in this life. My sister was really in great pain and desperation. She could not stop crying once she thought about her son. She was burning the joss paper and told him that she wishes he rest in peace. She has repeatedly blamed herself for not being a good mother. She could not protect her son from the young death. Right after home, my sister starved herself and just laid out and cried. That night, she dreamed a weird dream. She saw a little girl coming to her. The little girl came closer and closer to her. The little girl's body was covered with blood, but she kept faltered something to my sister, B231. What the little girl told her was like a car plate number. Then my sister awakened. My brother-in-law also awakened along with her and asked her what happened. Did she got a nightmare? My sister had told my brother-in-law her weird dream. She had seen a little girl who repeatedly told her something like a car plate number, which stuck in her head. My brother-in-law was supposed that my sister had been overthinking. She had thought a lot about who was the runaway murderer, so she had that kind of dream eventually. He told her that was just a dream, and she shouldn't think too much about that. She should get back to sleep. Then, my sister laid down and fell asleep. Not long later, my brother-in-law had jolt awakened. He felt something wrong. He had the same dream with his wife. There was a little girl who came and told him the car's plate number as well. The two of them discussed and felt that was not natural. They dreamed the same dream, especially the car plate number. They had been told the same car plate number in their dreams. The two of them decided to come and report to the police. They came to the police officers and told them about their dream with the car plate number. The police officer didn't trust them completely after hearing their dream. He thought the two of them were in a hurry to find the culprit. But seeing their full of hopes faces, the police officer was no way to let them down. They tried to check the plate number in their system. After working hours, I drove the two of them to find the address we had found from the car's registration information along with some police officers. Once we reached the address, we saw a car covered by a canvas in the street. Everyone could see that it was a very suspicious car. The police officers opened the canvas out. The car looked new and clean, and the car plate number was exactly the same as what my sister and my brother-in-law had heard of. The police officers called for backup. They found the blood trace under the chassis and confirmed that was the car hit the boy shortly. Eventually, the owner of the car had been suspected and was arrested by the police officer. He had confessed honestly that he had hit the boy by his car and ran away. So the case had been closed. My sister had told her mother-in-law about her dream afterward. The mother said they had to have a proper thank you to the little girl. My sister didn't reject her mother-in-law's idea. She believed that the little girl had helped her find the culprit for justice. So she had invited a wizard to come to the car crash place and took worship. The two of them stood aside and silently watched the worship. The wizard told them that he could not see their little son's spirit around. He might come to his afterlife already. And out of the blue, the wizard looked in another direction and asked my sister if the little girl she had seen in the dream was around 11 with plaits hair. He told them that the little girl's spirit had been there for a long time. She had been unfortunately got hit by a car as well, such a poor kid. She had been there when Matthew got hit, so she wanted to meet my sister and my brother-in-law in the dream and help them find the car's owner. The wizard continued that the girl had helped them, so they had to take worship for her as well at that moment. He was supposed that was the right thing for them to do so that they could pay her back for her kindness and could come to her afterlife. My sister and her husband agreed in no time. They asked the wizard what they should prepare for the worship. That night, they had prepared everything and came to the car crash place once again to worship the little girl. As the wizard's advice, they had to draw a circle on the ground, and sat inside afterward, then dug a hole to burn joss paper for the little girl. My sister was burning the joss paper while telling the little girl that she and her husband didn't know who she was, but she had helped her and her son out, so they wished she could rest in peace. The wizard told them that the more joss paper they burnt to the little girl, the better, because she could use those to come to her afterlife. My sister didn't believe it completely, but deep down, she wanted to pay the girl back, just like how the girl helped my sister's family to find the culprit. Out of nowhere, a breeze flew by, all of the dust in the hole flew out. My sister faced up to stop her tears down. Probably she was missing her little son. She told me that at that moment, she saw Matthew there in the sky and looked down at them. He even smiled at her. The boy looked very fresh. He didn't seem like he was in any pain. I was not sure if what my sister had seen was real. Might be it was not, might be it was true. But whatever, from that moment, I could see that my sister had been released out of the burden. Her son wasn't at her side anymore, but she believed he was playing fun in heaven.